2022, the first FanFest that we've been able to hold for 4 years. It's been a difficult time, but we're finally here at last. Wanted to welcome you all to the EVE Online FanFest 2022 stream. Thank you for tuning in to watch. And on the first day, we're going to have we have a packed schedule with the opening ceremony, the keynote, a presentation from Scott Manley. We're going to talk about all of that in just a second. But first, I just want to take a moment to introduce two of the player hosts who will be co-hosting the stream over the weekend. Nth Dimensional.
Good morning.
And Ithaca Hawk.
Morning, everybody.
So, gentlemen, Ithaca and Ithaca, Nth. Tell us a little bit about what you do in EVE Online. You're a renowned streamer.
Yeah, so mainly I do streaming for EVE. That covers content, mostly exploration king of New Eden. Fair amount of wormholes, events. I just like to see and explore all the new stuff that is in New Eden, so I'm definitely excited to see what's coming.
Yeah, hopefully there's going to be something for you here to sink your teeth into. Ithaca Hawk, what's your jam?
My jam is probably tournaments. People might know me from doing the Alliance tournament. We've got work for EVE13, so we've done the Alliance Open, the old EVE13 Championship Series as well. In the game, I fly with WeForm Volta, and yeah, just been doing different things around EVE for quite a long time.
Oh, right on. You say you fly with WeForm Volta, an accomplished Alliance tournament team, but you're always on the commentary desk. Do you think the fact that that is your position during most tournaments has contributed to their, excellent...
Absolutely. I'm basically the key linchpin of that team.
Right, okay,
without me in the Volta team, there would be no Volta team.
All right.
So,
right
in fact, some of the Volta guys here are competing in the PvP tournament. Annie Gardette and Starfleet Commander. They won at EVE London. And I'm hoping that they can actually win the whole thing this time. So that'd be pretty cool. So
that's very cool, actually, because we're delivering on the promise that we made during the World Tour in 2019, where as we traveled around the world, we had teams competing at every single location, and if they won that round, they would get like an all-expenses-paid trip to FanFest 2020 in order to, see who was the best of all. And of course, that never came to pass. But we're keeping our word. They're all here, and they're going to be playing throughout today in the playoffs, and then tomorrow will be the finals, which will be live streamed from the main stage just here behind me, and what is a fantastic-looking venue, I must say.
It is a fantastic-looking venue.
It's very good.
Yeah. This is the first time I've been at this venue. This venue is called Lares Hane, which I probably completely mispronounced, but one does what they can. But this venue we're in now is actually sort of like one of the traditional homes, I guess you could say, of FanFest, because the first FanFest, I've always associated FanFests with Harper, which is where it was the first time I came in 2013, but it only had their first FanFest in that location the previous year in 2012, and prior to that, it'd been in this exact spot for several years. So we've come back here, and I'm sure the people here who have been to recent FanFests, and hopefully you'll get some sense of this if you're on the couch at home and have been to a FanFest at Harper, but we have so much freedom at this venue just to make it over, light it how we want, stick vinyl on the walls. We've tried to make the lobby look like G244.
The lighting outside is very ambient, very good.
Yeah, actually, I want to see if they're going to dial that up a little bit, because
so that you can see.
Yeah, so
it's very dark.
No, vision's overrated. No one needs to see.
Yeah. No, it's atmospheric. Although it kind of worked for me, because in the run up to going live today, I was obviously running around, and the fact that no one could see my face meant that I wasn't getting hey, is this config? I'm like, oh, hey.
I noticed you from a mile away.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I was standing on a big balcony staring at it.
True.
You go, come. All right. Okay. Well, let's take a look at the actual schedule of what's going to be coming up today on the live stream. You can see it on your screens now. In just a few minutes at 11 o'clock, we're going to have the opening ceremony, which will be the community team formally welcoming the audience, who are starting to file into the venue now, which is great. Followed by the EVE Online keynote at 12 o'clock. Now, I've had a look at the lineup for that. That's going to have something like 9 different developers in it. And, it's going to go for an hour and a half. So it is chunky and thick, full of internet spaceship goodness.
Starting off strong.
Yes, putting our best foot forward, mate. Yeah, hopefully there'll be something in that for just about everyone. And then after that, we're going to have our special guest for FanFest this year, Scott Manley. He was supposed to be here in 2020, but couldn't. You know how that went. But he's going to be coming to give a presentation entitled "How Eve Made Me an Internet Rocket Scientist." Now, you met Scott Manley at the venue last night, Ithaca. Excuse me, the venue at the charity dinner last night.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah. He's a really cool person. I actually started watching his videos maybe 2013 or so for Kerbal Space Program. He taught me how to dock ships in Kerbal Space Program.
Yep.
And then I saw he had some EVE videos. I was like, oh, cool. And I kept watching them. and now obviously he's like really quite up in like the real space as well. So learned a lot of cool stuff from his videos. He's a really switched on guy. Got the opportunity to have a chat with him last night. Really nice person as well. So I'm really looking forward to his presentation. And I believe I get the opportunity to speak to him today here on this stream as well. So I'm like super excited for that.
You shall.
Yeah, in particular, I saw his wormhole videos of like how they would look. Very good video.
I believe that might actually be a component of his presentation today.
Oh, good.
Because he was staying close to like science to do with EVE Online in a sense. So I don't want to preempt it too much because I haven't seen the final presentation, but he did mention wormholes. And then following on from EVE, we're going to be bringing one of our player presenters to the fore. Dunk Dinkle from Brave is going to be giving a presentation called Lessons Learned Leading an Alliance, which alliterates beautifully and also is kind of like a spiritual successor to a previous presentation that he's given at EVE Vegas, which should be really, really promising. And while he's on the Singularity secondary stage delivering that for everyone to watch, we'll be here on the main stage getting set up for the second, I was about to say second annual, but it's been 4 years, the second CCP Games, which is, if you haven't seen it from 2018, you should watch the VOD.
I cannot tell you how excited I am for the CCP Games.
It's going to be a riot.
Yeah, it's just a wacky game show where EVE players will have their physical dexterity and their mental acuity pushed to the limits to see how good they are and basically how good at sports they are, because not all of it is, graceful. So yeah, so that's what we got covered today. We can talk about tomorrow's schedule tomorrow morning when we resume the live stream. But there's a lot to keep you guys interested if you're watching at home. Also remember that while you're watching the live stream, you can accumulate CCP channel points. And my phone is ringing because I'm an idiot. Go away.
Don't forget to hit that button to get extra channel points.
Yeah, because so now I lost my train of thought. The one thing, right?
There's CCP TV skins available.
Thank you very much.
For the channel points.
Thank you very much. You can accumulate channel points just by watching the CCP TV channel and the stream throughout the day. When you get 10,000 channel points, you can redeem those for a free Galnet Streamcast skin. If you've registered with the EVE to Twitch bot, which is in chat, it will send it to your in-game character via an EVE mail. So it can't be easier than that. All you need to do is make sure you have registered with that bot, and to do that, you just type !IGN followed by your in-game name.
So during the AT, we saw different prizes available for channel points. Do we expect to see that this year?
We won't have different prizes available for channel points. However, in addition to the CCP skins bot, which everyone can get, we will be having a couple of raffles throughout the weekend to give away some of the amazing Capsuleer Elite 19 skins, which have just landed in the New Eden store. So we'll be giving away a variety of Battlecruiser skins from that skin line. And we also have some I have to update my language. They formerly known as Mixed Dimensions, some integral reality ship models.
Those models are awesome. They're really cool.
Yes, they are.
They're super cool. So we'll be raffling off a few of those throughout the weekend. So just keep an eye on Twitch chat for when those raffles go live, and you can hopefully snap yourself up something a little bit extra.
Can I just ask, how excited are you to look down there and see all those people again?
Well, it's a mixture of excitement and fear because we're on a third floor balcony, and
it is a long way down. These chairs are not that stable.
It's very easy to just.
They got a bit of give to them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just me, but yeah.
But that's the people. That's all of our people. They're
I
here.
know. Actually, yeah. Joking aside, it is amazing to see because like. I went to 5 Fanfests, 5 EVE Vegases, like 6 EVE Down Unders.
It's worth noting that like Conflict was hired literally for his chops in setting up these kinds of events.
That we have is, and
so,
to be cut off and isolated from that family for the last 4 years has been.
This must be personally amazing for him.
Really,
yeah.
I actually heard a cool stat that since the last time Fanfest ran here in 2018, I think something like 40% of the attendees here have joined the game since the last Fanfest. And something like 50 or 60% of the developers
people keep using that development
joined since the last Fanfest.
People keep citing that stat as like a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing.
And it's just, I just think that's such a cool little stat.
Like people are like, oh, 60% turnover. That's terrible.
I've been playing.
What are you talking about? 40% retention over the course of 4 years is awesome.
Have you gone along to any player gatherings other than this, like Vegas or anything like that?
This is my first player
meetup.
Yep.
Wow, man, what a way to get started. That is so cool. That's awesome. And Ithaca's right about what he says about the developers as well, because, there are a lot of new staff at CCP who have never enjoyed the majesty of a EVE Online FanFest and gotten to meet the players one-on-one. So this is, I think, going to be a massive boost for them, just in terms of, their happiness to have those conversations with players and hear from them and the pats on the back and those kinds of things. Someone we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were putting your microphone.
Oh, nope, I got nothing to say yet.
Oh, okay, I got nothing to say. That's okay. We can keep talking. We'll be joining the main stage for the opening ceremony in just a second. So we've talked about Fanfest. We've talked about the new venue and all those kinds of things. How have you? Is this also your first trip?
I'm not saying it's great. Okay, awesome might be a bit of a stretch, but I'm saying is that like it isn't a bad stat.
I love Iceland. I will say I'm in the Pacific
4 years
Northwest,
is a long
America
time to retain
normally,
somebody.
Yeah. And so the weather
like you would
isn't
expect
that different. I've enjoyed
the vast majority of players
lot.
to be less than 4 years old at any given time.
It's been sort of seesawing over the last couple of days. We had 2 fantastic weeks, and then on Monday, once people really started arriving in earnest, it was terrible. But today is cleared right up. It's sunny.
It snowed on the way up here for like 5 minutes, and the sun came back out.
Is that right? Yeah, I had no idea.
If you don't like the weather in Iceland, wait 5 minutes.
Yes. So they say, hopefully everything's going to be nice and crisp for the pub crawl tonight.
Yeah.
So people will be able to get around and won't be wet. I can handle cold. I can handle a bit of wind, but like the pub crawl.
The pub crawl, I'm looking forward to that as well. I forgot just how thirsty Eve nerds are. I've been to the pub the last 2 nights, and people are going
packed.
hard.
Yeah.
It's like Wednesday, and people are already like, I've been here for 3 days. I haven't been sober the whole time. Like, everyone's just having so much fun.
Come on, give them a break. Their job is, hey, sit there and distract everybody until they're ready to go.
CCP has organised a whole bunch of player mixes, so it's basically been one almost every night this week at a different bar with people to just come along to. We also organised a pub quiz. I believe that was on Wednesday night. Last night we had the screening of the Clear Skies trilogy with a special new sneak peek from Clear Skies 4.
I heard the 4 was good.
Yeah,
I didn't see it, but
it's a really cool scene. I'm going to ask Ian Chisholm if I can get permission to show it like on the stream, like maybe tomorrow afternoon at some point, just so you guys can see it as well. It's only about 3.5 minutes, but it's looking really good. And of course the player run things as well, like the Tweet Fleet karaoke meet that happened the other night, and the numerous Corp and Alliance dinners that take place. It's almost an embarrassment of riches, and sometimes it's a bit anxiety inducing, where it's like, there's so many good things happening, I'm gonna have to miss something. But at the end of the holiday, that just means basically you just have a string of like awesome memories from all the really, really cool stuff that you did. What did you get up to during the week anyway?
So went to the Tweet Fleet karaoke night.
Yeah.
I was very clear. I'm not gonna sing. And then the next morning there was a video of me on YouTube singing.
Oh, you told me you weren't going to sing.
Yeah, and then somehow I ended up singing HDFU with a bunch of guys on stage, and it's on YouTube. So
perfect.
Then Damascus Kadesh, he organised a climbing trip the other day.
Yeah.
So a bunch of us went bouldering, which was awesome. It was really good fun. Then we had the charity dinner yesterday, which was great to see a bunch of people there. And I believe the MPSI guys ran a charity auction as well.
Oh, I should give them a shout out. Actually, Capty from Even Better with Friends, right? Did a
CCP Dragon is one of those CCPers that when I see his name on a team, it makes me very happy.
Even Better with Friends.
I'll put it that way.
Yep. All right, cool. Well,
so on that, I think we raised over £1,000, 1,200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic effort. Excellent. Congratulations. And we've got
Who's
more
on the right?
charity events happening throughout the weekend in our support of Able Gamers. We'll talk about that soon, though. However, for now, we're about to finally get things underway. The opening ceremony is about to begin, so we'll pass you down to the main stage and see you back here in a little while.
I thought the NPC haulers are there. I would love to do that, Dragon. Just let me know when. People lost their mind to this, like, I love this moment because it's when everyone discovered that CCP, what kind of company CCP really is. Like, this is so typical for CCP. If you think that this is nuts, like, get used to it. This is CCP right here. This quintessential. Having Elise Randolph in the team is perfect too. I will say this though, given this clip, did anybody else think of the Ukrainian president every single time like it was his thing? Like everybody else is having fun and he's like And I studied the blade. I don't know, maybe just me. I'm getting a lot more loot on the smuggler side, I've noticed so far.
We can do this, man. Yeah? All right. Awesome. Go. Woo! Hello, Fanfest! Woo! Woo! Whoa. A little bit of a setback there.
Apparently we're in a new place.
Yeah, nobody get the memo.
Yeah?
But how are you guys doing? Are you okay? Woo!
Oh, back when everyone still had hope.
Welcome. It's been a while since we've seen each other, and I think it's the first time we're seeing people in 3D. Amazing.
So this is just this is the opening ceremony.
It.
So it's going to be more
But
like
welcome in Iceland, in the land of fire and ice, and I hope you're having a fantastic time on our little island in the middle of the Arctic Ocean.
Look back.
And honestly, it's just so cool seeing EVE Online players taking over the Reykjavik for an entire week. It's glorious. But we're here in Jita 44 Station, one of the largest trading hubs in New Eden, a bustling metropolis with endless possibilities.
Endless
This is where capsuleers come to seek for opportunities, trade goods, and get wealthy. And if you're lucky, you can actually have your ISK doubled as well.
Yeah. I know a guy.
This was not before Reddit started to rage.
The station looks absolutely gorgeous after the most recent renovations. But this isn't the only thing that have changed, because you guys have been especially busy in the last 4 years.
Yeah, you've built tons of things. You've destroyed even more things. You've gone to war, and yeah, you've literally created EVE Online's history. Yeah, this is some footage from some of the biggest battles you guys had. World War B, obviously. I see a lot of people from the audience. There's some
this isn't live. This was like
literally
8 hours ago.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're still not quite sure who won, right? Yeah. So.
What did I just hear? What are you what
This was good.
You're not sure who won.
Yeah.
You're not sure who won the war. I'll tell you right now who won the war. I did.
Yeah.
No. The Imperium won the war. You guys know it.
He's got his monkey.
Don't forget. Now get out of here.
Yeah. Thank you.
If you say so.
George.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank, for the update. Love the shorts.
Isn't it the first time we see Fonte and Frank in the
Yeah, I mean, it all makes
entirety?
sense. Yeah.
I was always wondering what's below there. It's crazy.
But yeah, we have a few more stories to share about what you guys got up to during the keynote, but this would not be complete if we didn't talk about the return of Alliance Tournament 17. Congrats to Hydra Reloaded for finally throwing the monkey off their back and finishing first after so many second place finishes. But we're just happy the Alliance Tournament is back. And we owe it all to you guys in the community for keeping the competitive spirit alive with things like the EVNT Alliance Open and the Anger Games. In fact, Anger Games 5 is actually going on right now this weekend, so you can go and watch and root for your favorite teams. And yeah, it's just been incredible to have the competitive spirit back.
Yeah, and you guys also undocked quite a bunch of times, often together with us, venturing to different places over the cluster, writing more chapters in the EVE Online story. You set new records of kills in a single low-sec system. You established Totality Day as a celebration of the culmination point of the Triglavian invasion in New Eden. However, your stories not always end up with a bloodbath. Sometimes there are just pilots that need help, or people who are finding themselves in crisis situations that just need a bit of support. And time again, you guys prove to be the best, the most generous gaming online community out there. And since the inception of the Plex for Good program, the amount of contribution is absolutely staggering. And CCP Helmar will talk to you about it a little more just in a few seconds. Further, we found a way together to help scientists in the middle of the pandemic to better understand the immune system's response to COVID-19, producing data that would not have otherwise existed. You also paid tribute to those capsuleers who are no longer with us, preserving their memory in the hearts and minds of your corpmates, friends, and family.
And you also created incredible accomplishments. The Furiate FWST involved thousands of players. Frank was there. I actually jammed Brisk almost the entire time, so you can thank me later. But yeah, there is just an incredible amount of record-breaking going on in EVE, and it's amazing to see that after almost 20 years, you guys can still break the record books. Yeah. There are some other records you guys broke too. I am also going to take credit for this one because I jammed Brisk so much. He decided to take some ships that can't be jammed. You guys went to M2 and just said, hey, let's have a massive Titan brawl. And that's exactly what you guys did and destroyed a heck of a lot of them. It is the most costly battle in EVE Online's glorious history. So credit to you guys. I'm sure, actually I know several of you here have lost Titans in that fight. So it's fine. Yeah, there's landfall beer here. You can drown your sorrows. But yes, not every record has to be PvP related. In fact, Signal Cartel showed us this a few times. Katia Say set the record for the first capsuleer to completely circumnavigate EVE Online. But you know, the apple doesn't fall from the tree. Enrique Arnolds, as you can see here, also from Signal Cartel, took a note from his now CEO, Katia, and circumnavigated all of New Eden, every single system, in just 224 days. Also, he did this without dying.
That is unironically
which
impressive,
is absolutely nuts. I can barely go anywhere without dying. So congrats to Enrique for your Guinness record, world record. And if anyone thinks that they can top that, you've got 224 days to prove it. We've also welcomed a whole lot of new pilots to EVE Online in the last couple of years, thanks to our Korean localization. Korean is now a supported language, so that is awesome. Hopefully there are some Korean capsuleers here. And then we've also blossomed into Japan again with our official relaunch into Japan. I know if you're a fan of the Alliance Tournament Platinum sensitivity, credits this to their success. So already making a mark on New Eden. And if that's not enough, it's not just languages, it's other platforms as well. Our collaboration with Apple brought a native Mac client to EVE Online, supporting the M2 architecture, which is very cool. Or the M1 architecture. Sorry, I'm thinking about M2 again. I've got Titans on the mind. But absolutely fantastic work there. You'll hear a little bit more about that a little bit later on. We've also expanded to the Epic Games Store, so new people can find EVE. More people to shoot, always a better thing. And of course, EVE Anywhere, which allows you to play EVE on any browser. And you'll be hearing a little bit more about that a bit later on, but I'm sure some of you here will probably use that so you can manage your skill queues while you're gone. And then who knows where we're expanding to next? Actually, I know, but you guys don't. But you will soon, and it's awesome and exciting.
Will we?
Yeah, and obviously together with you, the game has also been constantly evolving. In the last few years, we saw an abundance of updates, balance changes, live events, technical improvements, and a plethora of new tools for you to play with. And it's always fascinating to see how astute capsuleers try to constantly adapt to the ever-evolving world of EVE Online, often achieving feats maybe as well, but feats that go way beyond our wildest imaginations. And sometimes you just make testicles with the fleet formation feature, and that's okay.
Our relationship with the community is actually something that we're really, really proud of. Hearing your feedback, kind of listening to you when there's updates, what you guys want to see, whether it's on the forums, on Reddit, on podcasts, pretty much anywhere. We listen, and we're always happy to have this, like, what I think is an incredibly special relationship with you guys. It's unique to gaming. I can't think of another one that does it, and frankly, we just wouldn't be here without you. So thank you for that. Yeah. There are now more ways, though, to chat with us. People here in the audience, you probably know this. We opened our EVE Online Discord server.
As it turns out, in a competitive game, nerfs can actually just make things more interesting.
Now, we're officially
because anything that changes for you changes for your opponent. So nerfing is not inherently bad.
At the EVE Discord server, you can talk to us, have fun, and especially if you're here at Fanfest,
I'm not saying it's
you
great.
can coordinate events, see what other people are up to, and just run into random capsuleers. It's a great way to organize, or even just share some great pictures.
Absolutely, and again, at the end of the day, it all boils down to the fact that EVE Online would not have been such an amazing, life-changing experience if it wouldn't be for you. And we're continually humbled and inspired by the people in this community, and you guys are what keeps us going. It is an utmost privilege to be a part of this phenomenon that seemingly transcends the digital boundaries of New Eden. And we want to thank you for that, for being here and for deciding to spend your time with us today. And on that note, I would like to invite on stage the CEO of CCP Games, Hilmar Pettersson.
I gotta say,
thank you, Camille.
People's behavior when he came online was absolutely atrocious, and people should be ashamed of themselves. Everything else aside.
Little did we know when we were celebrating the 15 years of EVE Online that there would be a 4-year gap from having Fanfest and having this wonderful experience that Fanfest is. Of course, we did madness as usual, people staring at horses, CCP games, cosplay, amazing times celebrating 15 years of EVE Online. And we did take it on the road, so a lot of us went around the world to meet some of you and some of you on the stream. But the fact that that little gap year we were planning would turn into 4 years of a gap just wasn't something we were preparing for. This process of sharing our passion for EVE Online is so much a part of how we do and make the game. I think it was not really fully understood and appreciated for us how kind of blind it invaded us when we all had to go and cancel everything and do this for 2 years. I want to do a special thanks to everyone at CCP. We, of course, run the company without missing a beat throughout the period. But while everyone is very happy, you see this is kind of the first week of running CCP on Zoom and Teams. It started to set in. Like after 2 years of doing it, we're extremely happy to be back in the office here in Reykjavik and London. Unfortunately, not in Shanghai. Our people in Shanghai are experiencing some of the worst lockdown I think we've ever seen, and a big shout out to them. But here in Reykjavik, we're not only back in our new building in Gróska, we're also back with all of you here. But not only did we have like Corona to deal with, we also had the volcano. A lot has gone on. And obviously a volcano in Iceland is more like a opportunity to party. Here we roll with the punches, make the best of it. And we did get a lot done. Like the guys went a little bit over this, Eve Anywhere, localization, Guinness World Records, but also a big project during lockdown was to release EVE Online in China again. So we released a new version of Serenity early in 2020, in the middle of lockdown. And then we released 2 versions of EVE Echoes in collaboration with NetEase in August 2020 and August 2021. So there has a lot been done. Of course, the Mac version of EVE Online, which is a tip of a big iceberg of tech renovation underneath. We went pretty deep to remake all of the graphics and infrastructure for EVE to be able to make a Mac version. It enables us to do a lot more in the future. We've also experimented by pushing the boundaries on what can be done with the IP, with collaborations, and learned a lot from that, Epic Store, etc. It's been quite a thing. And it's great to be back here with all of you to kind of share our passion for EVE in multiple languages. Now, of course, we have localized all around the world. And we just want to like deeply welcome you and thank you for the journey in these 4 years where we haven't really been able to meet. And a lot happens in 4 years. So here are some interesting statistics. So 63% of CCP employees today have never been to Fanfest.
People also disparage that one. Do you know how much CCP's been staffing up? I'm so glad that they posted this graph.
Is that 57% of current EVE players that are playing EVE Online today, this week, started after the last Fanfest. This is something that we tend to forget because a lot of us have been here a while. And we think like it's kind of a lot the same people meeting again and again. We have a bedrock of people that have been involved in EVE Online for decades. But EVE Online is a little bit like a river. There's a people coming in and out all the time, and then kind of the bedrock builds up over time. So there's a lot of people that are not only working at CCP, but in the player community that have never experienced Fanfest.
Solid
so
point,
please take care when you see some of our newer CCP employees that this would be their first Fanfest. There's like a special look. I think we all know it by now. You can kind of see people, yeah, that's your first one, isn't it?
I've seen all this before, so
yeah.
I wouldn't call it my reaction.
I remember when it was my first one. It was in 2004. Speaking of that, it's a bit of a deja vu to be back here in Laugardalshöll. So we did our last event here in 2011, and then we moved to Harpa. We were actually the first event in Harpa in 2012. Thank you, Iceland, for building it. It's pretty awesome. And it is awesome, but it is very much its own thing. Like Harpa is Harpa, kind of looks like a space station, but it doesn't really look like an EVE space station. So we've been getting feedback throughout the years that people
No, it's not huge company turnover. It's expansion.
And it's a different experience here. So now we're back in Laugardalshöll, trying out some new things. We have this gigantic screen, for example, and I'm sure you're like me, wondering how many multi-boxes we could fit on this. We should run a test at some point.
Remember, they track people, not accounts.
Yeah, it would be a lot. And I'm kind of amazed that we can render Jita as well on this gigantic screen. Again, evidence to the tech investments we've been doing. We have a lot of new stuff to play with, which you will be seeing throughout the days. But we're also here in a bit of a kind of a, what should we say, alpha test for next year, because next year Eve turns 20 years old. So now we're kind of working out the kinks. We're also out of practice a bit, holding Fanfest. So as we go through the journey here, please give us feedback on this. Man. Please give us crazy ideas on what we can do here next year, because then we're going to go berserk. It's 20 years of EVE Online, start of the third decade. So this is kind of the trial.
They've never explained all of the techniques that they use, but probably credit cards, email addresses, IP addresses,
here we are. So EVE players were good. The guys were mentioning this a bit. Amazing results for the last pledge for good. It's really amazing. And we're now up to $1.2 million.
Presenting this kind of thing is a very nerve-wracking thing.
In helping disasters around the world, whether they are natural ones or made by people, such as the war in Ukraine. Terrible situation, but you guys really have stepped up. Ever since we got the call out from the community during the tsunami in Southeast Asia, and we kind of started, we didn't have Plex back then, it was kind of electronic game type codes, if you remember that. It was kind of ETCs for good. And this is really amazing. Like, you keep on inspiring us with your ability to come together and make a difference. Please give yourselves a great applause. So, but we're here to talk all about EVE. And EVE started from humble beginnings. Here we see some releases when EVE Online came out in exactly 19 years from now. It's actually EVE Online's birthday right now. Right now.
Just another one of those things I thought they were going to make a bigger deal.
Gamers turned 19 years
like
old.
A side note. But
science fiction. And it's a very abstract concept, like 19 years of a game, what does it really mean? I mean, some of you here, like me, have been here all along, and you've kind of seen it in its stages, and it's kind of, you lose the plot sometimes. So I got permission from Eva to show this picture again. This is my child, Eva, who was born just after Eve. And I'm there playing EVE Online. I am mining back for a thorax I lost. You can check the Fanfest keynote 2013. I tell the story when I lost my first spaceship in EVE Online. I am there conflicted. Should I fix EVE or repay the spaceship I lost? Trying to do both and juggle my child at the same time. And we did, like, during lockdown, we had a bit of fun with it, and we reenacted the scenario. Thank you, Eva, for signing the GDPR waiver for this. So, this is what 19 years does to you. It makes the screens slimmer. And next month, CCP will turn 25 years old. We're entering some unicorn status in the game industry of surviving for this long. CCP is sometimes called like the cockroach of the game industry. Nothing kills us. And me, myself, actually celebrated 20 years of working at CCP for a while. It's actually now 22 years. And since I make the rules, I decided to get the two-handed sword for 20 years. Actually, Joe North was ahead of me, and he got a shotgun, but this is more my thing. People up north, by the way, they have to hunt their own food, so it kind of makes sense. And there are polar bears and more there. But I wanted to give you kind of a bit of a high-level update on kind of what we're up to. Here are some pictures from our sort of internal communication material about the strategy of CCP. So we have been busy kind of since 2018, setting EVE Online up for a third decade of success. which obviously starts next year. So there's been a lot of focus in getting that done. We continue to explore new worlds and strengthening the company. But I also wanted to discuss this a little bit, like, why are we still playing EVE? Like, I've now dedicated half of my conscious life to this game. Why is that? And of course, it's the fleet fights and the graphics and whatnot. But we did a major study, actually since last Fanfest, we got CCP Ghost to go and investigate what is really the reason why people are playing. We kind of knew high level, we know people join for the graphics, they stay for the community, but it's not a very actionable, it's too high level. So when you have a lot of new people, which you need to educate in how you join EVE Online dev team and what is the point of all this, it's good to deploy science into it. We came away with this, which we call the EVE effect. So the conclusion was kind of, people play EVE Online because of the friendships that they make inside the game. So our community is actually made up of individual.
Unironically saying that the real EVE is the friends that we made along the way.
Mass aggregate, it becomes like a singular thing, but EVE Online is held together by individual friendships that have formed and been tested over decades. And people keep calling out that EVE Online has also given them life skills where they have grown to be the best versions of themselves. I've certainly followed
skills like how to deal with loss and disappointment.
Inside the game and outside of the game. And it's one of my proudest kind of feelings about EVE is to see how much people have grown and how much they attribute that to EVE Online. People that have...
True.
Yeah. It's people that have kind of grown in their careers. Many people say, like, they are the go-to person for conflict management. There's something about EVE Online that prepares you for that. And recruitment strategies, obviously Excel of the Wazoo, we have some news on that later on. So it's really this. This is why people play EVE Online for decades. This is why we work on it. It is the relationships, it's the friendships we've made through this journey. Like 73% of the people we talked to and did service on said they've made new friends because of EVE Online. And having friends is very important. I think we saw that during the pandemic, where the fact that we had friendships and relationships to pull on. As you could almost say, like EVE players, when they saw we are now running the world from the basements, we got this. We've been preparing for this for 20 years. And when did you do? But we're also dealing with this in the world today, the loneliness epidemic. And it has been studied that the biggest correlation for health and happiness in life is how many meaningful relationships you have. It's a greater predictor of that than the negative ones, like smoking, being overweight, not moving, etc. Having friends destroys everything of that. It's really fulfilling in your life. You could argue it is the purpose of life. And the fact that we have all been here together forging relationship for almost 20 years, I think we all feel that, and we feel why we are part of this community for such a long time. It is that tapestry that is built up around the game. The average EVE player has more friends than your average person in boring reality. And this has given us insights which we will be deploying more and more as we move forward. We have made a bit of a theory around it, or like CCP Ghost has made it. The formula of how you make a friend, there's actually a formula for it. It's shockingly invented by the CIA, I think. Something about like intelligence. I mean, obviously you guys know this, like intelligence is gathered from making friends and enemies.
If you want to link something, you got to ask ahead of time, so
duration, and most importantly, intensity. This is where EVE Online shines, whether it's PvP shakes or feeling that somebody has your back. This is really the reason why this game keeps on going. And the relationships are many formed. I used to have to marry people myself. Now the Pope does it. Thank you, Pope. Okay, but why are we still investing in EVE? I've always and often been challenged by this. We obviously have had boards of investors throughout the years where people are like challenging this notion. We spent a lot of money on reinvesting in EVE Online. And of course, that feeds into the updates we're giving you a few weeks ago about raising the prices.
I cannot believe that they addressed this directly.
Talk a little bit about that here.
And then also didn't show off the content. Like, now I'm really confused why they announced it ahead of time,
so it's been
to be honest. You're just going to do it this way.
And we are just looking at the world, which is heading into pretty new territory. So this is inflation data from the US. Iceland tends to be an early adopter of economic trends. So we've been getting the preview of what's about to come for a while. I'm sure if you look at the typical Icelandic newspaper, you might see in a stand here, you will see 7% inflation last month. Like, it's been kind of crazy. When you're buying $10 beers in Iceland, pretty sure you get the point. So it is just, frankly, more expensive to run EVE Online than it used to be. And we have been growing the EVE team considerably since
that
2018.
chart. See,
so
hold on.
Been building
that is the 40%. For those of you saying that like 60% of the company, look at that. That is at least 40% growth in just raw numbers. That's not a lot of turnover, guys.
On EVE, the more complicated it tends to be to organize people. You don't just add devs and magic happens. It's like I showed before, 60% of CCP employees have never been to Fanfest. Like, now finally they get to experience what it's all about. And we've been doing a lot of deep foundation
you do not get a penalty.
So we've been 64-bit clients, Mac versions, DirectX 12, new tooling for developers.
Solid question.
The environment of working on EVE Online has kind of degraded over the years, and we have now been, since 2018, doing a massive investment in foundations that were always
more specifically
pushed away into
events
the
do not give
standards.
standards.
There was never time
that
to
is
do
like
the proper
there may be
exceptions
to that someday, but just in general, just assume that events do not give standards.
Now it's 2020. Most of EVE Online was made in 20 years ago, and we have been on this journey of changing the strategy. We've changed the leadership. We've improved our discipline direction, like technology, game design, art, etc. We've worked on our creative vision. We've streamlined and aligned team to purposes, operations, a lot of investment in data to be informed by the facts rather than just intuition. Building the new player experience, and we're kind of getting out of the depths now. So as you see what we'll be showing in the EVE keynote, I hope you appreciate that. There's been a lot of work underneath that enables what is about to come now into the third decade. And it would have been great to have Fanfest all the way along to give you an update on this, but at least here we are. But Fanfest was not the first. We actually had this Fanfest in China recently. So like I said, one of the big elements we did in 2020 was the release
Nick,
in China.
anything that brings people into the game is bringing content into the game, just so you know.
Kind of
just think about it that way.
Revitalizing even China. And we're really now at a point where we have a really vibrant version of Serenity.
Like if people are the content, then things that bring people in, that's your content. CCP can't add your content if your content is people, without adding PvE. Like that's it.
They have actually split themselves into two alliances, which are now fighting. So we've been having some of the biggest fights in Serenity in this year. One even reaching 3,000 peak concurrent users, which is quite a bit.
Fanfest was pretty full. I saw the there were some pictures of it.
8K like we are on the global server. So we are having a pretty vibrant aspect in China, which is really good. And we've also made massive changes to how we organize development of EVE China. So this is our dev team in Shanghai before they got locked in their homes 2 months ago. And they now entirely take care of Serenity. So part of our reorganization is that we've forked EVE China completely. So the developers here I was showing the graph of, they're all solely dedicated to TQ, and Serenity does their own thing. And they're doing pretty wild things. Here's a roguelike.
The idea that the bumping changes actually influenced like how much actual ganking happened at all is ridiculous.
Well, you can go and play it if you can read Chinese, but it's kind of really pushing the boundaries in a different way. And this is now all accumulating in the fact that we have a lot going on in EVE Online. Like we have EVE Online on TQ, we have EVE Online on Serenity, we have EVE Echoes Global, we have EVE Echoes China, we have a new project.
My point was
London
shooters and stuff
where we're
bring people into the
developing a
game.
first-person shooter. We have a project called M5, which is a mobile 4X game, and of course we keep our VR games going. Missing from the list are obviously Dust, because it's no longer running, and Spark, which is not really in the EVE IP, but maybe we'll work on that. So EVE Echoes came out, and
Spark seems pretty abandoned.
Over 13 million people have played EVE Echoes.
Like I can't even justify buying it, even though I want to play it, because I don't think there's going to be any
really
play
added
with.
to this number of people that have experienced the EVE IP. And we are here because we're here first together in a while, talking about our new project, which is upcoming. And now I have to read. Our PR department has really made sure I don't give too much away here.
Isn't it kind of odd that the CEO's being under constriction?
Upcoming online tactical first-person shooter. It is unannounced. The project is unannounced. And we recognize that hard sci-fi in the universe is something that needs to exist, and we're committed to do like an innovative multiplayer atmospheric experience, and we're really looking forward to talk more about that, but that time is not now.
The shooter's like that hallway in like a horror movie where you're running down the hallway trying to get away from something, but the hallway's just getting longer and longer and longer as you run down there.
There's a great picture of him, but it doesn't really show how tall he is. He's taller than I, and that's a good way to spot him. So he is here to learn about community development from the best.
Yeah, pretty wild, huh?
So mob him and see how far you get. There might be a secret Discord server somewhere. I don't know. I just don't know. See how far you get. M5 is another game.
I'm actually kind of interested in this.
It is a mobile game.
A lot of people poo-poo it because it's like, oh, mobile game, but like a mobile strategy game, like that actually.
And we're kind of play testing it internally. I constantly lose in it because everyone bullies me. But it's kind of a game about spaceships and world domination, but in a bit of a different format. So excited to share more about that with you. Then I wanted to talk a little bit about this.
Once again, if you want to bring people into the game, you want a solid mobile game. I hate to put it that way, but like that's just the truth. That's where you get people now.
EVE Online. So of course we did a lot of VR investment from 2013 till 2017.
What the fuck is a Kestrel doing here?
Games which are still going. We are still on our VR vacation.
Dude, you might want to leave. There's Stormbringers in here.
Yet, but we are eager and waiting for it to really take off. We really believe in that concept. The install base just isn't there.
Oh gosh.
I talked about like understanding the human brain, this kind of study.
Oh good,
the
I killed
effect and all these things help us develop EVE Online better. I talked about computers in the clouds. You have now seen the announcement of Quasar and all the work we've been doing that has really helped us modernizing EVE Online. Using machine learning, AI, etc. We've been investing massively in. We now have a team of 20 people in the data team that do nothing but
There's a whole thing called over-the-shoulder factor, which people can ask me about later. If you want
and we also talked about blockchain in 2017. Exactly.
Based and true.
2017. And of course, we have made the statement, it's not for TQ. We hear you loud and clear.
He's going to try to steal my stuff. That's what it is.
Live right now, and it's all good.
That's fine. Well, now I want now I want the Sorrow guys.
But we will have a small team that is going to explore this because
people freaked out because of a small team, but that's fine. That's fine, guys. That's not even the same people working on Eve. It's good. It's fine.
Etc. And we are curious about: is there something here to learn that we can enhance our craft?
That's good. They should be actually exploring the tech. They don't need to be building it into Tranquility, but they should be exploring the tech.
New things. But as I said, not for TQ. This is the plan, EVE Online forever, and it's great to be back with you here to celebrate that. Thank you.
Did they die or leave? Must have left.
Are we on? Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
Where the hell were you?
I was getting makeup.
Ah,
Okay, fair enough. Right.
All right.
Take it off, man.
Is it me?
No, I watched this.
Well,
this
hello
morning,
everyone. Glad to
but
be
just
here
the
in
keynote
your
and opening.
presence. It's fantastic to see you all, and there are a lot of you here, which we are going to talk a little bit about. Joining us today are over 120 alliances, and that's a lot. We're not going to name them all, but we're going to talk about some of those. The highest attendance here today.
I need to make more coffee.
Do a small list, and you can make your presence known as much as you want, but let's just start with the first one, and I think it's number 11. It's a band
Yeah,
apart. We have
Lava.
18
I noticed
members
that one.
From a band apart. Where are you?
This one's so good.
There you are.
This was hilarious.
Sixth Empire, 19. There you go. So we move up the list. We have Test Alliance,
That
19.
moment when your null block empire has the same number of people show up as the Sixth
We
Empire.
form Volta,
Not talking anything bad about the Sixth Empire, but that is fucking
Next we have
hilarious, just objectively.
Matar role players. Electus Matari, where are you? 21. There you are.
Right on.
And Pandemic Legion, 25.
They did announce a lot of stuff,
Next
but they announced
is
it in a way
Brave,
that wasn't
28.
like didn't bring it to the people, if that makes sense.
They brought
We'll talk
flags.
more about that.
They did. Northern Coalition, 30. That's right. The Initiative, 48. We're getting up there.
Yeah, 2 more.
Who's next? Pandemic Horde, 53. And last, but certainly not least, 101. The Goons are in the house.
I can't
to say the
imagine why the Goons won the war.
It's great to see you. You guys come from over 40 countries this year.
At Fanfest.
At Fanfest, which is just incredible.
I mean, when you show up,
We have a person with us here for this event who traveled over 16,500 kilometers, and he comes from the southeastern coast of Australia.
I'm gonna go make
And
myself some coffee
let's
too.
give him. I originally had a lot more information, like the city and stuff, and then they were like, no, they will figure out who he is right away, so please don't do that. So we cut it back. But we are absolutely more than proud to welcome you all here today from all over the world. It's great to see you guys.
Absolutely, and one of the reasons why Fanfest is such an amazing experience is all of the presentations, player talks, contests, roundtables, and extra activities that we have planned for you. You can see the schedule just behind me. Obviously, it's easily accessible for you on the website. And today, just in a little bit, we obviously are going to have the EVE Online keynote. It's something you absolutely do not want to miss. We will be showcasing the keynote as well on the screen in Singularity. So if you guys want to use that room as well, you're going to be more than welcome to grab a seat and make yourself comfortable. There will be also a presentation from our space buddy Scott Manley happening later today, and the art team will showcase some marvelous things they have in store for EVE Online. Other than that, we do have the Fanfest Global Finals happening for all the tournament enthusiasts out there. Is the culmination of our 2v2 Invasion Tournament series that we organized back in 2019. And now we finally managed to flew the winners from all of those locations to compete for the title of the Fanfest Global Champions. We also have a bunch of cool prizes that are sponsored by our friends from IMD and HyperX, and it's gonna be really cool to see who actually is gonna take the trophy with them home.
And if you don't know this by now, by the opening video, we are weird. So bring back this year, we have CCP Games. The second iteration, it has no lubrication or spandex of any kind. So if you were hoping for that, I'm very sorry, guys, but we have something else. We are going to have some physical activities which are going to be hilarious, and the players will display their vast knowledge of EVE Online as well in mixed group with the developers, so we're going to be mixing them. But for anyone who does not know, this is a game show. It's ridiculous. You're going to love it. It's going to be later today hosted by CCP Quant and CCP Convict. And the schedule for tomorrow, just to go briefly over it, it is a really packed day of both presentations and roundtables, and we encourage you to take a look at the schedule so you can plan out your day. The best way to do that, of course, is to use the Sked app. You can either download this for Android or iOS or access it on the website. It's going to be eFanfest2022.sked.com or search for eFanfest 2022. And for those of you who are watching at home, CCP is going to be streaming all of the presentations that take place here in Tranquility, including CCP games later today. And then we will start again in Singularity tomorrow at 10 a.m. with a presentation from Mike Azariah. And after all of those presentations and roundtables, we'll again meet here in Tranquility for the global finals. And I think we're done then, right? Like
yeah, I mean, we're going to have a little bit of a closing
like
ceremony,
thing, right?
Just to go over a couple of things, but there wouldn't be a FanFest without the party at the top of the world. We're going to have Z-Trip and Mind One producing some deep, juicy beats for us.
That's right.
To really energize the crowd. And, you know, the volcanic eruptions that we had are going to be nothing compared to the tremble that people in Reykjavik are going to feel when we turn this party to 11. And the party will obviously take place over here in Tranquility. You can see the floor map, floor plan over there, which again also is accessible in all sorts of different places, just so you can better orientate yourself. There's just a couple of things I wanted to bring your attention to. When you enter the venue, to your left-hand side, we do have the silent auction. Once again, we're super happy to be working with our friends at Able Gamers and proceeding all of the donations into their noble cause. They are on the mission to creating opportunities that enable play in order to combat social isolation, foster inclusive communities, and improve the quality of life for people with disabilities. You can be placing your bids throughout the weekend. There is a lot of unique items that I think every nerd would like to add to their collection. The only thing you need to remember that the silent auction will end at 4 p.m. tomorrow. So if you're bidding for something and you really want that gold magnate or a Lloyd George watercolor, you need to be there, otherwise it's gonna go to the second person with the highest bid, okay?
But that is not the only place you can take home memorabilia, because the Jita 4 marketplace will be open right after the keynote and remains open throughout the day. And for both of those things, the marketplace and the silent auction, we have the DHL Interbus branch on site. If you need to ship anything home, they are there to assist you. And on the second floor of the station is where you will find a bunch of... what's that? Oh, all right. And this is where you'll find a bunch of roundtables tomorrow throughout the event, so make sure you check out the floor plan.
We can probably skip through this part.
For
Hold
the
on.
event as well. And
Nah.
together... Okay, what is that?
I mean, it's a red dot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because this is 100%
Yes,
just
what does it do?
administration
So you know
stuff.
you have a new slide.
Skip?
A new slide. I think we could